The recommendations part of the assessment is arguably the most important in that it carries the greatest number of marks, and so we want to ensure that our students are doing the very best they can in order to get those top marks. So let's have a look at what that looks like then. With recommendations, activity 3, our students are asked to develop and market the case study business. So how do we do that? The first thing to really put across to your students is that this section is about how, not why. So the recommendations are how can we improve, how can we develop, how can we market the case studies business. We don't need to give reasons in this activity, and if we do, we won't get any marks for them. So really, really important to instill across to your students that this area is the how and not why, and you can see that it's worth 20 marks. So exactly how do we go about doing that then? So the way to approach this with your students is to remind them that the recommendations are going to come on the back of having done the SWOT analysis. And obviously they've identified strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats according to the case study business, and from those they'll be asked to comment and make recommendations under 3 broad categories. The first of which you can see there is customer groups, the second is trends in the industry, and the third is needs of the business. Now, the brilliant news for us as teachers and for your students is that every time they take the exam, every time the exam is set, this criteria remains the same. So we know that for activity 3, for recommendations, they will be asked to write about customer groups, trends in industry and needs of the business, and that will always be the same. Now, in terms of scoring really well, again, the examiners expect a comprehensive range of coverage across the specification, and in order to get into those top bands, certainly 3, if not 4, they're looking for at least 3 different points in each of those 3 areas. So 3 for customer groups, 3 for trends in the industry, and 3 for needs of the business. And you'll notice there that I have numbered them 1 to 9. Now, it doesn't need to be just 3, it could be more, so it's at least 3. But let's say if our students put 3 in the first one, another 3 in the second, and another 3 in the third, and they number them 1 to 9, then what they're going to do when we come on to the justifications is they use that numbering system to talk about the why. Let's not focus too much on the why just now. Just bear in mind that the recommendations is how we are going to improve the business. Now, when it comes to the recommendations, it should be absolutely clear that when the examiner picks up their piece of work, they're not left in any doubt as to how the recommendations could be implemented. So we need to ensure that our students go into a great detail with this. I had an example just recently with the students and they said, oh yeah, we need to do some more marketing. Well, that doesn't really answer the how well enough. They need to say we need to do some more marketing, which would include digital marketing, such as using TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. So they've got to be really, really specific. So you don't want the examiner or the reader to be left asking the question, well, how would I implement this? So everything needs to be very, very detailed in order to score highly in this area. In the next videos, let's look at these 3 groups in more detail.